be a case that he's decided to not call it a day, but just cruise in for the rest of the day and find himself a group.
Sports are supposed to be about fair play, but over the years, we've seen stars push the rules and sometimes break them completely in ways you won't believe.
I'm really sorry about the choices that were made by my team.
From sandpaper tucked inside a player's trousers to sticky adhesive smeared on a baseball glove.
Caleb Smith's glove. Caleb is in danger of failing a foreign substance inspection here. They took the glove.
These incidents didn't just cross a line, they redrew it. Let's get straight into these shocking foul plays. Number 10. Dwight Howard caught cheating using stickum in Atlanta.
He's really a well-rounded player, and that Millsap's telling him to look at the ball. Must be sticky.
March 19th, 2016. Rockets versus Hawks. Late in the first quarter, something strange happened. Dwight Howard, Houston's big man, grabbed the ball near the scorer's table. The moment he passed it off, Atlanta's Paul Millsap caught it and froze. He said the ball felt sticky, like super glue. He couldn't get it off his hands.
Paul Millsap noticed the basketball felt like someone poured maple syrup over it. I've never felt the ball like that, ever, Millsap said.
He called it the weirdest thing he had ever felt on a court. The referees took the ball away immediately. Monty McCutcheon, the crew chief, announced to both benches that stickum was illegal in the NBA. Cameras caught a can wrapped in white tape sitting on the scorer's table. Houston's coach, J.B. Bickerstaff, even shifted to block it from view. The damage was done. Everyone saw it. After the game, Dwight didn't hide. He admitted he used stickum and even claimed he had been doing it for 5 years straight. "I ain't tripping," he said. He insisted it was just to help grip the ball, not to gain some magical edge. The league's response? A formal warning. No fine. No suspension. Number 9. Peter Sagan elbowed Mark Cavendish in a sprint. July 4th, 2017. Stage 4 of the Tour de France, from Mondorf-les-Bains to Vittel. 207 kilometers of racing came down to the final few seconds. The peloton barreled into the finish at over 60 kilometers per hour. That's when the chaos started. Mark Cavendish, one of cycling's most dangerous sprinters, tried to squeeze through a shrinking gap on the right side near the barriers. Peter Sagan was already holding position, shifting slightly as the sprint funneled tight. Then it happened. Cavendish brushed the rails, lost balance, and went down hard. What caught the world's attention, though, was Sagan's right elbow.
Peter Sagan is accused for changing the lane and pushing Cavendish to the border, you know.
On replay, it looked like he jutted it out just as Cavendish leaned in. The race jury didn't hesitate. He endangered multiple riders, said jury president Philippe Marion. Sagan was first docked, then outright disqualified from the Tour the same day.
Disqualified Peter Sagan from Tour de France 2017 as he endangered some of his colleagues seriously.
Cavendish was left battered. Later scans showing a fractured shoulder blade that forced him out of the race completely. Sagan insisted he never saw Cavendish and only used the elbow for balance. Cavendish said he just wanted an explanation, not excuses. Fans split instantly. Was it reckless sprinting or intentional foul play? Cycling purists called the decision harsh, pointing out that chaotic sprints always involve contact. Months later, when higher quality footage surfaced, even officials admitted the call could have gone differently. But by then, the Tour had moved on. The sandpaper incident.
Young Australian batsman busted for using some tape to try and change the ball's condition. Both players have now been stood down for a match by the ICC.
A quiet third day of Test cricket in Cape Town. That's all it was supposed to be. Then the cameras caught it. Cameron Bancroft, fidgeting, something yellow in his hand. He rubbed the ball, then shoved it down his pants like no one would notice. But the world did. Later that day, he and Captain Steve Smith came clean. They were trying to alter the ball's condition, not with tape, with sandpaper. And that's the part that stuck, literally. Sandpaper used to roughen one side of the ball, to cheat airflow and create swing. Law 41.3 calls it unfair play. But this was scandal. The umpires didn't change the ball. No penalty runs. but intent alone triggered chaos. Smith got a one-test ban and lost all his match fees. Bancroft lost 75%, but that was just the ICC. Cricket Australia went nuclear.
But these cricketers, I saw one describe them thin-skinned, sanctimonious hypocrites. Others say, dirty, cheating.
Smith and David Warner were banned for 12 months. Bancroft for 9. The fallout hit hard. Sponsors vanished. Steve Smith reportedly lost over $5 million. David Warner lost 4. Coach Darren Lehman quit, and Australia's cricket reputation torn apart. Number 7. Romano Fenati grabbed a rival's brake lever at approximately 200+ kilometers per hour. September 9th, 2018, San Marino Grand Prix, Moto 2 race at Misano. Riders flying down the back, straight at speeds well over 200 kilometers per hour. Then came one of the ugliest moments in racing history. Romano Fenati pulled up alongside fellow rider Stefano Manzi. Cameras caught him reaching across and grabbing Manzi's front brake lever. At that speed, the front brake is everything.
This is about 120, maybe 30 miles an hour. And if he'd have crashed at that point, it would have been a massive crash.
A sudden squeeze can flip a bike, throw a rider, and cause instant disaster. Manzi's bike wobbled violently, but by sheer luck and instinct, he kept it upright. It could have ended with multiple riders in the hospital, or worse. Race control wasted no time. Fenati was black flagged for irresponsible riding, immediately disqualified from the event. Within hours, his punishment escalated. He was banned for 2 races. By the next day, his team terminated his contract, and the 2019 contract he had lined up with MV Agusta canceled. The backlash from the racing world was brutal. Veteran riders called for a lifetime ban. Cal Crutchlow said Fenati should never race again. Colin Edwards called it disgraceful and dangerous. Fans worldwide echoed the outrage.
But it was hard. It was hard to keep the thing on 2 wheels, a little tricky in some of those sections.
The governing body, the FIM, stepped in and suspended his license for the rest of the year. Fenati issued an apology. "I made a disgraceful gesture. I should not have reacted to provocation, but the damage was done." His reputation was shredded in seconds. Number 6. Greg Hardy used an inhaler between rounds on broadcast.
Everybody was talking about my inhaler instead of watching that sweet Rockhold or whatever, Weidman knockout.
October 18th, 2019, UFC Fight Night in Boston. Greg Hardy stepped into the cage against Ben Sosoli, looking to rebuild his name after a turbulent past. 3 rounds later, the judges awarded Hardy a unanimous decision. But what stole the headlines wasn't the fight itself. It was what happened in the corner between rounds. As the cameras rolled, Hardy sat on his stool, exhausted. His team pulled out an inhaler. He looked to a commission inspector and asked if he could use it. "Is it medically approved?" the inspector asked. Hardy nodded, claiming USADA had cleared it. The inhaler came out. 2 puffs, live on camera, right before the 3rd round began. The fight went on. Hardy thought he had his win, but minutes later, the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission overturned the result. The unanimous decision was gone. Officially, it became a no contest. Why? Because inhalers are not pre-approved for in-fight use, no matter the medical condition. The rules say only water or a sports drink is allowed, nothing else. UFC official Mark Ratner said flat out, "That's completely illegal." Dana White admitted it was a mistake by everyone involved. But rules are rules. Hardy defended himself, saying he has lifelong asthma and uses the inhaler every day. He said he told doctors and USADA, but never thought to check with the commission. Number 5. Sockgate at the Asian Games. November 17th, 2010. The Asian Games in Guangzhou, China. Taiwan's Taekwondo star Yang Shuchun stepped into the ring for the women's under 49 kilogram class. She was the favorite, leading 9-0 in the first round, dominating her opponent from Vietnam. Then, with 12 seconds left, everything turned upside down. Officials suddenly stopped the match. Yang was disqualified. The reason? Her socks. They said she had unauthorized electronic sensors on her heels, giving her an unfair scoring advantage.
Manipulative behavior, intent of cheating, that's the reason why individual has disqualified.
In Taekwondo, sensors measure pressure to confirm if a strike is strong enough to count, so extra sensors could make points register faster than normal. The crowd was stunned. Yang dropped to the mat in tears, insisting she had done nothing wrong. Here's what made it messy. Before the fight, inspectors noticed extra heel sensors taped to her socks. They told her to remove them, and she did. She passed inspection. The match started, but mid-fight, the Asian Taekwondo Union's vice president ordered a recheck. Officials looked again, claimed the gear was still illegal, and yanked her out of the games. The backlash was immediate. Taiwan's fans erupted in anger. Websites crashed from the flood of online protests. Politicians called it injustice. World Taekwondo's Secretary General said it was manipulative with intent to cheat. Yang's camp fired back, saying the socks were an approved model used worldwide, and that she had followed instructions. A month later, punishments came. Yang was suspended 3 months for refusing to leave the mat. Her coach banned for nearly 2 years. Taiwan's federation fined $50,000. Yet despite the penalties, public sympathy stayed with Yang. To many, it felt less like cheating and more like politics. Number 4. D-backs Caleb Smith. Ejected when umps found foreign substance on glove. August 18, 2021. The Arizona Diamondbacks faced the Philadelphia Phillies. Caleb Smith came out of the bullpen in the 6th inning, glove in hand, ready to work. Umpires gave it a routine check after the inning and let him continue. Nothing seemed unusual. But when he walked off the mound in the 8th, the officials stopped him again. This time, they spotted something. Dark, sticky marks on his glove. Suspicion of a foreign substance.
Wow, this is the second illegal substance-related ejection of the night, for whom it is their first Major League Baseball ejection.
Suddenly, the check wasn't routine anymore. Smith protested instantly. He threw his hands up, arguing with the crew. Coaches had to step in to calm him down. "It's just rosin and dirt," he insisted. He explained that he always rubbed dirt from the mound into his hand, mixing it with sweat, nothing illegal. But the umpires weren't buying it. They confiscated the glove on the spot and ejected him from the game. Within days, Major League Baseball reviewed the evidence. The verdict came down on August 25th, 10-game suspension, a fine. Smith appealed, but the ruling stood. He became another name on the growing list of pitchers caught in MLB's crackdown on sticky substances. These materials can benefit pitchers by improving their grip on the ball, making it spin faster and move in ways that are harder for batters to hit. The league had drawn a line that season. Spider tack, pine tar, even creative rosin mixes. Anything that gave pitchers extra spin was banned. Enforcement was strict. Smith's case was one more example of how far MLB was willing to go to clean up the game. Number 3. The trash can sign steal scheme. February of 2020. Spring training should have been about fresh starts, but the Houston Astros walked into camp carrying the weight of one of baseball's biggest scandals. Cameras and microphones packed the room as Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve stepped up to a podium. Their mission? Apologize. By then, the story was out. In their 2017 championship season, the Astros had set up a camera in center field. The feed ran into the dugout, where players banged on a trash can to signal what pitch was coming. One bang for a breaking ball, another for an off-speed pitch. The system was crude, but it worked. Batters knew what was coming before the ball even left the pitcher's hand. Bregman kept his head down and read a short statement. "I am really sorry for the choices that were made by my team, the organization, and by me." Then Altuve took his turn. "It was wrong. We feel bad. The impact on the fans, the impact on the game. We feel bad."
We especially feel remorse for the impact in our fans and the game of baseball.
Neither man took questions. Neither man looked comfortable. Fans were furious. Many called the apologies scripted, hollow, even insulting. Around the league, players tore into the Astros, saying the punishment had been too soft. Titles weren't stripped, players weren't banned. Managers and executives took the hit, but the stars walked free. And the season that followed? Every away game, the Astros were booed relentlessly. Opponents mocked them with trash can chants. Cheating now had a sound, and it echoed through every stadium they entered. Number 2, Petr Yan kneed a grounded Aljamain Sterling, DQ. March 6, 2021. UFC 259 inside the Apex in Las Vegas. Petr Yan, the defending bantamweight champion, was in control. Aljamain Sterling, the challenger, was hurt. Down on one knee, hand on the mat.
His knee was all the way down. Illegal knee. He told him before that, he said down. He said downed opponent.
Under the unified rules, that meant he was a grounded fighter. No knees to the head allowed. Everyone knew it. But then Yan launched one. A sharp knee straight to Sterling's skull. The arena went silent. Sterling collapsed. Referee Mark Smith stopped the fight instantly. Doctors entered the cage. Sterling tried to stand, but staggered. He could not continue. The fight was over. The ruling? Intentional foul. For the first time in UFC history, a world title changed hands by disqualification. Sterling was handed the belt. Yan, stunned, walked away knowing he had just thrown away his championship. The controversy lit up immediately. Microphones had picked up voices from Yan's Russian corner right before the strike. Some believed he was told to throw the knee. Others said it was mistranslated. Daniel Cormier claimed even Khabib Nurmagomedov had warned them not to strike. Yan insisted he misread Sterling's hand position and thought it was legal. But excuses didn't matter. The knee landed. The belt was gone. Sterling apologized to fans, saying he never wanted to win that way. Yet many accused him of exaggerating. Yan admitted he made a huge mistake. They would meet again, but nothing erased that moment. Number 1. Luis Resto cheating in a boxing match. June 16, 1983. Madison Square Garden. Luis Resto stepped into the ring to fight Billy Collins Jr. It was supposed to be a fair bout. 10 rounds of boxing under the lights. But what followed turned into one of the darkest scandals in the sport's history. Collins took punch after punch that night. His face swelled, his eyes nearly shut, yet he kept standing. When the final bell rang, it looked like a brutal but ordinary fight. Then Collins's father walked over to shake Resto's hand. The handshake changed everything. He felt the gloves and instantly shouted that they were wrong, too thin, almost no padding at all. Officials grabbed the gloves and examined them. The truth came out.
Unanimous in favor of Luis Resto, but shortly after the fight, Collins' handlers charged that Resto's gloves had been tampered with.
The padding had been cut away from the palms. Even worse, Resto's hand wraps were soaked in plaster, turning his fists into hard casts. It wasn't boxing anymore. It was like being hit with rocks. Billy Collins Jr. never recovered. His eyes were damaged, his iris torn, and his vision left blurry forever. He could never fight again. His career ended that night, before it even had the chance to begin. The New York Commission moved fast. They overturned Resto's win, changed it to a no contest, and stripped his license. His trainer, Panama Lewis, had his license revoked for life. 3 years later, in 1986, both men faced criminal charges, guilty of assault, conspiracy, and using Resto's hands as weapons. Resto served 2.5 to 3 years in prison. Lewis also spent time behind bars. Years later, Resto finally admitted the truth. He said he knew what was happening that night. He confessed Lewis had wrapped his hands with plaster of Paris and removed padding deliberately to destroy Collins's career. he apologized. But for Billy Collins Jr., the damage was permanent. Which one shocked you the most? And do you think the punishments actually fit the crimes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more wild, real sports moments like these, don't forget to subscribe. We're just getting started.